Hey everybody, it's your girl Kay back with a message. This one is not going to be a quick one, but it will be important, and I hope you guys watch it. Just real quick, y'all see I replaced the batteries in my smoke detector. No, but so today I'm gonna come on here with a message. So I've been struggling lately. If you guys watch my videos, y'all know I have a 9 to 5. But I have always been an entrepreneurial mindset person. It's always been my vision, my plan, my dreams, my desires, my everything to work for myself. Working for someone else is really draining to me because I know my capabilities and what I could be doing. So it's really stressful, and at times I just kind of slip into a place, and I won't say depression because I'm not gonna put that label on myself, but I'll say a place of frustration because I just get tired of doing this. But it's hard at the same time because being an entrepreneur is really hard. You have to give it your entire life. You have to live, breathe, and 100% give it 100,000% every single day. There's no off day at all being an entrepreneur. And if you guys watch any of my videos, you know something that I express a lot is that I struggle with the spirit of procrastination, which is something that I notice runs in my family. So I know that particular spirit could possibly be a generational curse. And it had me thinking. My little cousin was here over Thanksgiving break, and we had a really deep conversation. And a lot of the things that he found himself struggling with, I was struggling with as at his age as well. He's 13, and I mean, it was like I was having a conversation with myself. But as he was talking, I noticed that a lot of the things that he was saying are exactly how I was feeling as well. And I know several other people in my family that I've had conversations with feel the exact same way. So it led me to believe, if we all struggle with that same spirit, that procrastination, that spirit that would keep us from following our dreams, it just really made me wonder, like, wow, if the devil would go out of his way to make sure that I'm lazy, that I don't do what God put in me and other people in my family, it had me come to a realization that there's something truly great inside of me that the devil doesn't want to come out. And it brought me back to the story of Joseph and his brothers. Now, when I read this story, I read this book chapter in the Bible. I read this book of the Bible maybe a couple of months ago. I want to say maybe last month. And the story about Joseph and his brothers has really, really just stuck with me. If you don't know the story, Joseph, I think he had 12 brothers. Don't quote me on that, but you can Google it for yourself. He had a lot of brothers, I'll say that. And he had the favor of the Lord on him. Joseph had a dream, basically, where God gave him a vision that he would be a great ruler and that all his brothers would bow down to him, or he would be ruler over them. He told his brothers about the dream. They already hated him because he had obvious favor. When you have the spirit of God on you, when you're anointed, you have favor with God and with man. So they hated him because they were jealous of him because of his anointing. And so when he told them the dream, they hated him even more. So they planned to kill Joseph. They threw him down in a well, in a ditch, and was leaving him for dead. But instead, they saw I think it was the Ishmaelites. Again, you can Google the story yourself. but they saw a group of people coming who basically take people captive as slaves. So they said, okay, well, we don't have to kill him. Let's just let's give him to the Ishmaelites. He'll be a slave. We'll never see him again. Problem solved. So they gave Joseph to the Ishmaelites. Joseph was sold into slavery, and I believe the Pharaoh saw him and saw his anointing. He saw something on him, and he's like, I'll take that slave. So he went into Egypt. In Egypt, he started working for the Pharaoh, and then this woman basically tried to rape him, and he ran, and then she lied on him. She snatched his robe off, his coat off, and lied and said he tried to rape her, basically, and that's how she ended up with his coat. So he ended up in jail. He ended up in prison for, I think it was 2 years. And in that 2 years, he interpreted a few people's dreams. Fast forward, they got out of prison. Joseph was still in prison, and the Pharaoh ended up having a dream that he needed interpreted. The baker, I believe it was, when he got out of jail, he had a new position. And so when the Pharaoh was talking about this dream and needing it interpreted, Joseph popped back to his mind. He's like, hey, I know somebody. So they went down, they got Joseph out of prison, brought him up, and the Pharaoh told him the dream. Joseph interpreted it. And basically what the dream was, Joseph told the Pharaoh that Egypt was going to have 7 years of prosperity and 7 years of famine. Basically, I won't go into all the details. And so the Pharaoh was really grateful to Joseph, gave him all the details of the dream. And within that, Joseph got promoted, and he was basically like the Pharaoh's second hand. And he basically said to all of Egypt, when you see Joseph, you basically see me. It's the same thing. So Joseph is ruler over Egypt now. And so the dream starts to comes to fruition. So the 7 years of prosperity, Egypt enters the 7 years of prosperity. The land is flourishing, prospering, it's all good. Joseph said, well, I know the 7 years of famine is coming up, so what we need to do is stack up, basically. So he stacked up food, he stacked everything that he stacked up everything. He saved, and he waited for that time of famine to come. And he told the Pharaoh, when the famine hits, everybody's going to have to come to us for food, and we're not going to give it to them, we're going to sell it to them. And so once the 7 years of prosperity was over, then of course, the 7 years of famine came. The people in the land, it wasn't just Egypt. It was many towns stretched out that the famine had hit. And so all the people started coming to Joseph for food, and everything else. They were having to trade their cattle, their goats, and even their land once they ran out of money, basically. So among those towns, his brothers was hit. So they don't have no food, they don't have no money. All they have is the land that they have or whatever. So they happen to come on down to Egypt. So because they, everybody knows that the Pharaoh or the Egyptians, they have food. So everyone in that region knows that they have to go to Egypt to get their food or whatever. And so Joseph's brothers go ahead and pop up in Egypt. Joseph just happened to be at work this day, and he sees them. Now, he recognizes them, but they don't recognize him. And so I know a lot of people would get in that position and be like, yeah, look at me now. Y'all need me. Y'all try to kill me. Y'all sold me into slavery. Now y'all gonna starve me, die. I told y'all I was gonna be ruler over y'all. Y'all know what I mean? But no, that's not what Joseph did, because again, let me reiterate, he was a man of God. He had an anointing on him, so that wasn't his character. So of course, he saw his brothers. He didn't even tell them it was him. I think what he did was he took the little brother, held him hostage in a way, and basically told them, he asked if his dad was still alive, and he told them to go back to their town and bring their daddy back, and he was keeping the little brother there until they got back. They still don't know that this is Joseph. They don't know it's their brother. And so they go back to the land, they go get their dad, and they come back, I believe. I'm gonna skip over the details because I don't want to be giving y'all the wrong information, and I don't got time for nobody coming on here like it was actually this series of events, whatever, because that's not even the entire purpose of this video. Anyway, so long story short, Joseph ends up telling the brothers, hey y'all, it's me, it's your boy Joseph. And their brothers felt so much shame for what they had done. And Joseph didn't make them feel that way. They automatically felt convicted because they knew what they had did. And the fact that Joseph, he welcomed them in, he moved them to Egypt. And he put them up in high ranking too. He took care of them. He didn't turn his back on them. He showed them grace and he showed them mercy. He had a heart for God. And that was that. But my point is, and how this ties into working a 9-to-5. Joseph had a great purpose on his life, but people were jealous of him and was preying on his downfall. When they threw him into that pit, when he got sold into slavery and when he went to prison, he could have easily just gave up on life. He could have easily just said, woe is me. Why me, God? I don't deserve this, yada, 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 da, 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 da. All of the stuff that we be saying now, like all of the stuff that we say now, like, why am I going through this? Whatever. But imagine if Joseph stayed in that well. Imagine if he stayed in a victim mindset. He would have never gotten to the place where his gift would flourish. Egypt needed him because he was the only person who, one, could foresee that the famine was coming, knew to store up the food and everything else, and brought the land back to life. He was the only person who could do that. If he would have stayed in a victimhood, that wouldn't have happened. The land would have famished. Everyone would have died. His brothers, fathers, everybody would have died for starvation or what have you. It wouldn't have went the way it was supposed to do. Now, my point is, that's a lot of us. And a lot of us stay in the well and die. A lot of us stay in prison and die. A lot of us stay in slavery and die. And our gifts die with it. Now, imagine how horrified you would be on Judgment Day when you get to heaven and God asks you, why did you waste my gifts I gave you? And you're going to be like, huh? And he's going to be like, why did you waste my gifts I gave you? I gave you singing talents. I gave you writing talents. I gave you accounting money. I gave you a genius brain, this, that, and the other. Why did you let my gifts go to waste? I needed you to do X, Y, and Z, and you didn't do it. Why not? And you're going to say, well, they threw me in a well and they tried to kill me, and it just wasn't fair, Lord. And you know what he's gonna say? He's gonna say, they were supposed to throw you in the well so your gift could come out, but you died instead and you stayed there. Not only that, I don't know if wasting your gift is going to send you to hell or not. I can't say that for sure. I'm going to do some research on that and let y'all know for sure. But what I do know is if you get into heaven, what you get in heaven is going to be based off what you did here on earth. If you did little and nothing on earth, You was just a bystander, a victim, and you never fulfilled your purpose. I mean, I feel like that's a hell within itself. But just imagine how you would feel to know like you're disappointed God. To know that he did in fact give you several gifts that had several purposes that you were supposed to manifest, and you did nothing with it besides be a victim. I don't know, who needs to hear this. I know I need to hear this because I don't want to let my gifts die, and I don't want to get in front of my Father and him be disappointed in me, him telling me, I gave you all these gifts. I needed you to do this. You was the only person who could do this, and you didn't do it. I'm like, what? Me? Yeah, you. I feel every day that I sit here at this job that my gifts are dying. And maybe that's just because I don't know how to work 8 hours a day and work on my business. So, if anybody watches, maybe that's something y'all can pray for me about. Teaching me how to multitask. I don't know how to give my all to multiple things. I need, I don't know how to give 100% to multiple things. And maybe that's just something I need to learn. But I truly am at a crossroads because I feel like every day I sit in this chair for 8 hours a day, clocking for somebody else is 8 hours a day that my gifts are dying. My anointing is dying. My talents are dying. And it's stressful because if I do what my heart wants me to do and try to, be a regular American and work my job, then my job suffers. But if I don't do it, then my desires and my passion suffers. Is it just me, or is somebody else having the same experience? Is it another person who has the same crossroad that I do, fork in the road, whatever you want to call it? I don't know. I'm stressed, but every day I feel like I just want to quit this job, but I'm so fearful. But I just feel like I'm dying. I feel like I'm stuck in the well. I feel like I'm stuck in prison. I feel like I'm a slave. And it's stressful, y'all. It's stressful because I know some of the gifts God has in me, but when I imagine myself dying and not squeezing every single gift out of me that God gave me, it makes me so sad because I feel like I'm letting down the person who matters, like, if this job fires me today, guess what? I can find another job. If God fired me, I can find another God, but I don't want to. I don't want to serve no other God. I'm not going to serve another God. So, yeah, I'm stressed. Your girl's stressed. I need my hair retwisted. My lips is dry. At least my lashes is hanging on. I don't know, y'all. Help your girl out. If anybody has any advice or any input, or you're feeling the same way, let me know.